Hi everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Well, I want to invite you all to spend a little bit of time with me here in the garden this evening, harvesting a few buckets of flowers for the flower stand tomorrow. There's so many wonderful lilies to look at right now, and it's going to be all lilies at the stand tomorrow. And I think we also might get around to a bit of cooking because it looks like a lot of my hot peppers are ready for harvest, and I'd like to make some stuffed peppers with y'all that are absolutely delicious. It looks like we have some cucumbers that are ready too. All right, friends, we've got everything harvested for tomorrow and just in time because we're about to lose the light. Have I showed you all this yet? This is a new hydro fountain from Plow and Hearth, and it's so awesome because it doesn't require any electricity. All you do is plug it in and charge it for a few hours, and then it's remote controlled out here in the garden, and it has all these different settings and it lights up and everything. So I'm just loving it out here, and it's really seeming to help with my mosquito problem. All right, I think we're ready to take on the weekend now. We've got 2 buckets of flowers conditioning in the addition. We've got a nice bunch of banana peppers, a few cucumbers, and I think now I'm just gonna snuggle up with Grace, watch last week's Gardener's World, and I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning to do some arranging. Well, good morning, dear friends. How's everyone doing on this beautiful Saturday morning? A wonderful overcast day here in Amish country. I'm on my 4th cup of coffee. One more and I'll be all set to arrange some flowers with you. But isn't it a beautiful day out in the garden this morning? So many beautiful flowers to see. Perhaps a lily tour is in order. What do y'all think about that? All right, friends, I think we're ready to rock and roll now. So let me just go ahead and quickly share with you what we're going to be using today. This foliage is from Obedient Plant. It will eventually get a purple flower. I believe there's a white variety also. It looks a lot like a snapdragon, and here for me in 6B it blooms right at the end of August, but I find it really valuable as a foliage cut. A lot of people say that this plant can be super vigorous in their garden, and it can, but in terms of growing cut flowers for selling, something like this is really great to have because, you know, the more that it multiplies, the more money I can make with no cost at all. Now we're going to use this beautiful Colorado yarrow. This is the 2nd year for this yarrow. We'll go ahead and use the Dara. I think I lost about 1 stem of Dara last night to wilt, but overall we're looking good. Then we'll put some beautiful straw flower in the bouquets. This dark one is called Purple Red. I got this seed from Johnny's. And this pink one and all the other colors that you saw out in my garden is from a mix. It's a tall mix from Roar's Seed and Supply. Now this Celosia here is from a girlfriend of mine. I think she collected the seed from her own garden and I'm super thankful for that. So I'm not totally sure on the variety, but I'll try to put a similar variety in the description box below. And then you can see this Lavon lily. an absolutely gorgeous OT lily. So this one we harvested together yesterday and it was in tight bud. None of these were open. And you can see that just within, I guess it's probably been about 10 hours now, this has fully opened up, and I need to go ahead and remove these pollinanthers now. And if it turns out that this one opens up before I go ahead and set up the stand, I would remove that as well. That'll just help the lily to last a lot longer, and it does kind of make a mess if that pollen gets on your clothes. Or what I did one time was touch some lily pollen and then touch my white cabinets on the inside, and there's still a fingerprint of that pollen on there. So it really can be very stainy. So to start with, I'm just gonna make a fan with my foliage. Do about 8 to 10 stems of foliage on these. That's good. The last 2 stems I like to add at the end. Next, I'll come in with that amazing straw flower. I love this purple red. It's so beautiful. I did try to clean up the stems outside, but if they need cleaned up a little bit more inside, I'll go ahead and do that now. Three stems of gorgeous Dara going in. Next we'll come in with that Colorado Yarrow. Next I'll come in with that Celosia. I'm going to start to add in Lavon, and you can see I am putting in some that are just in bud form, and then I like to put in 1 or 2 that are open so my customer can kind of see what they're getting. That kind of goes against what's recommended. Of course, it's recommended that you always sell in this stage, but in terms of selling at a farm stand, I just find that no one buys them if they all look like this. So I really need to let some of them open inside. And now at this point is when I just like to disguise the stems here in the front, and I'll just put just 1 or 2 stems of foliage there. And now we can just cut it. All right, well, there we have it. And now we just need to make 3 more of these. Do you guys have a flower that you don't like the smell of? You know, it's funny how some people really, really dislike the smell of lilies. I mean, I do understand that. It is super powerful, especially on some varieties. I think next year, as I go ahead and make my order, I may only order Asiatics because I really need lilies as early as possible. They sell so well. You know, the Asiatics don't have fragrance, and there's a lot of Asiatics that I've never tried before. There's double Asiatics, and I've never tried growing those. I've only ever tried the double Oriental. So I think this year I'll give that a try, and then hopefully we'll have lilies even sooner in the season, because the Asiatics that I do grow are the summer wine mix, and I basically sell all those within the week, but probably even quicker than that, maybe within 4 days, they're all gone. I like to also remove the foliage from the back. That just helps the lilies lay a little bit nicer, I find. Well, friends, what do you think of today's arrangements? I'm so happy that I went ahead and purchased Lavon. Like I said earlier, I think it's so hard to know just going from a singular picture online if that lily is going to look like the picture, if it's going to pair well with the other colors that you're growing. And I'm really happy that this particular lily really did work out. So I actually have most of these lilies growing in pots just to kind of test them out and see if I want to keep them or if I want to give them away. But I'm really happy with them, so we'll definitely be putting them in the ground for later years. So now let's go ahead. I need to clean up around where the stand is because there's a lot of Rose of Sharon blossoms on the ground, and then we'll get set up. So while we're waiting, I'll go ahead and prep these peppers. I just like to cut them in half. Sorry if you can hear Grace eating in the background. I gave her a little bit of sausage. And I'm just gonna de-seed them so we can stuff them up. Whenever I start to make these appetizers from the garden, I always wish it was football season because there's just nothing like making homemade appetizers or dips from the garden and watching some football, right? So I'll do my best to put some kind of recipe in the description section, but I'm kind of an eyeball it cook. So I put in here 4 ounces of cream cheese. I think most recipes will call for 8, but I know both my husband and I, we like a little more meat heavy than cream cheese heavy. And this is 16 ounces of sausage. So I think I'll put in half. Oh. Actually, maybe I'll put in 3/4. Blend that together and then see how it looks. I'm gonna add into that about 1 cup of cheddar cheese. I'm using sharp cheddar, but you know what also might be good is like a nice pepper jack. That might be really tasty in these. I think I'll put in about, say, 1/4 of parm, about a tablespoon of Worcestershire, a couple shakes of garlic powder, and maybe just a really light sprinkling of red pepper flakes. Friends, I'm gonna take just a quick break from the cooking there because Gracie alerted me that someone has been here. So let's check the stand real quick. Oh, okay. I think I put in a little bit too much red pepper, but my husband's actually gonna really like that. That's got some serious kick. This is gonna be so delicious. Now I have to figure out what in the world to make to go with these for dinner, because the only thing I have around is some chicken thighs and cucumbers. So to start, I'm gonna put these in the oven for, I think about maybe 15 to 20 minutes at 425. That usually does it, but I do have a few really big peppers in here. So I might have to let those ones go a little bit longer. So I cooked them for about 20-25 minutes. Here's what they look like. I guess they taste better than they look. I have already had one of these and they're absolutely delicious. I guess this is really just an excuse to eat sausage and cheese, and the pepper is almost an afterthought. But it kind of got me thinking after I tasted it that it would probably be just as delicious to cut up all the peppers and then just make a dip with it. So it looks like we have one more bouquet left at the stand. It's getting pretty hot now, so I might actually bring that bouquet in and then put it back out this evening. But I decided to go ahead and make my Sunday flowers. This is something I like to do just for my family every week, mainly just so I can get some practice with my pin frog and design work. So this week I used Steve's sunflowers, and these are the branches of his sunflowers, which I feel like are a lot easier to work into designs. I have a little bit of that cherry rose sunflower, some straw flower that we harvested together. The blue you see is forget-me-not, and the dangling bits and pieces are pokeweed and nasturtium. So yeah, just something really fun I like to do. I just started doing this about last year, maybe the year before, just hoping to get better with design. Well, it's 3 hours later. Grace and I had to quickly run outside around 3 o'clock and rescue the final bouquet from a big thunderstorm that rolled in. We're back out here seeing if there's any damage, and it looks like everything's okay so far. But I think I'm gonna wrap it up at the stand for today. 3 out of 4 bouquets is great. It looks like there's more rain on the horizon, and as we were waiting out the storm, I saw a lot of classic cars go by. So I'm thinking there must be a classic car show in town, and I'm gonna cross my fingers that Grace and I can find it. And maybe, just maybe, there will be a 1950s mint green Chevy convertible. And maybe if I bring this last bouquet, the gentleman or lady who owns it will let us sit in it. Wouldn't that be great? So guys, I want to wish you a wonderful day, and whatever you need from the garden today, I hope you receive that. Bye!